Hi, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you in my NWO winter wear, my hockey jersey from back in the day. Picked this up as an edition of Monday Nitro live from the Georgia Dome back in the day. I can remember that the main event was Kevin Nash versus Sid in the main event. But going to the topic of today, it seems that, the WWE is always going to be throwing... I think that honestly that there's not these a set card for stuff, but I think that they like to throw rumors out there and know that if they tell the right people will tell the right people, and stuff will circulate and stuff will move around, and the rumors will hit out there that they can draw fans to go in one direction when actually the whole plan is for them to go another direction so they can feel that they got swerved away once they get there. I think one of the biggest things they do this is the WrestleMania card. Lots of stuff always gets leaked to get you thrown in different directions from this way or that way or the other. And one of the most popular guys that they have on the company is Brock Lesnar. Of course, since he came back, since his big re-debut in the company around WrestleMania 28 when he came back to fight John Cena, it can be debated whether if he's been worth the money, if he's been able to draw a number of fans to come back to wrestling, if he's been able to pop the buys when he has pay-per-view fights, when he fights at SummerSlam and WrestleMania and this, that, and the other. I guess I'm one person who honestly really doesn't think that we're getting... I'm saying we're like I'm part of the WWE. I'm a stockholder. I got one share right here. I pay Brock Lesnar with my own money, but honestly. I don't think that as a wrestling fan, I don't think WWE is getting the most out of Brock Lesnar. I don't think that, when we brought this guy in, I think that we got the Cena fight out of him, and that was the biggest deal. I don't know if it was Triple H that killed him, but even when they put him up against a guy like CM Punk, who a lot of people thought it was like some sort of this dream match in order to have, I don't think that they got the most out of him. I know that there's rumors out there if he's going to fight The Rock, if he's going to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and both of those matches are going to be real big matches. But honestly, I don't think that anybody's going to order WrestleMania on pay-per-view for either one of those fights. I think that he could go up against almost anybody on the roster and be able to help somebody out who's really a part of the show. It's funny that they would put those three guys, Rock, Brock Lesnar, and Undertaker, into this sort of like questionable question mark match. Because these guys don't show up that much. I know that WWE is sort of playing with fire when they hand out these contracts to these guys to keep them in the family, knowing that they're three of the biggest names that they've ever had. The first guy to start to do this was The Undertaker, and then The Rock came along and did it, and then the Brock Lesnar got his deal where you don't have to work a full schedule to be in WWE anymore. Just come in when we really need you on a show that we know is going to do a big number, and we'll be able to pay your contract out of that money that we make off this big show like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. The only problem is that they've got so many of these guys that work these deals. You gotta be worried about how big the show's gonna be to make sure that you're gonna be able to cover all these guys, especially with somebody like Hulk Hogan being a questionable guy who's coming in for one last appearance. That Shawn Michaels always shows up at WrestleMania. Triple H is another guy, and I don't know, it's crazy. But, I guess the one thing that backs up what I said, that I think people would, watch a Brock Lesnar match, no matter who it is he's going up against. The first sort of rumor that's come out of there that he's going to fight somebody who's not one of the true main eventers that it be is the match of Brock Lesnar versus the Ryback at WrestleMania. As you can see that, around Hell in the Cell time, I believe it was Night of Champions. CM Punk was about to beat the holy hell out of Paul Heyman, and Ryback came out and made the save. And there we started the big feud, CM Punk versus Ryback, the rematch from the previous years. Just everybody's done a double turn since then. CM Punk's no longer the heel. Paul Heyman is no longer aligned with CM Punk. The Ryback isn't fighting for the fans anymore. He's fighting for himself. And I don't know. It's just weird if you go back and watch, the Hell in a Cell from last year and just think of how everybody's storyline would get to the point of where they are now. CM Punk's on this, big quest that he wants to kill Paul Heyman and everything, but I don't know. To me, honestly, it just really didn't work. It seems like, when CM Punk came out and he said he was a Paul Heyman guy, and Heyman came out and became his manager, and of course, Heyman was there to be with Brock Lesnar throughout the whole Triple H feud and everything like that. As them being, CM Punk guys, it really worked, and for them to say that they, Heyman was going to unveil the new CM Punk guy. Curtis Axel came out. I guess he was born because he's no longer Michael McGillicuddy, but I think at first it gave him a whole lot of credibility. I mean, he came out, it put him on the stage of, okay, this guy's not going to be on Superstars anymore. He's not going to be, clogging up main events. He's going to be a guy that's going to be featured on Monday Night Raw as well as SmackDown. And we should get used to this guy because a lot of people have been saying he's good for a long time. And now we're going to really see how good this guy is. Truth is, the reason why he was on Superstars and the reason why he was on main events so many times is because people never really got a chance to get behind the guy. And maybe it's because we saw him on those shows for so long, we can never get past seeing him as anything other than that. But it just didn't work. And so, Punk killed Axel, and then, Ryback came out, and he became the new Paul Heyman guy, and they did the whole Billy and Chuck thing with Heyman proposing to Ryback, and that made people just cringe up even more, just of how stupid this angle was, and Punk beat Ryback, because that's what Punk does, and I believe he beat him 2 times in a row, and then he finally was able to get his hands on Paul Heyman, and now Heyman, has actually put his hands on Ryback, and he's came out there, and he's sort of realigned himself as Curtis Axel being the main guy of his stable, I guess, because he's the Intercontinental Champion. Ryback is a guy who's hasn't won a big match in months. Of course, everybody can remember back to when he just sort of quit in the middle of a match against The Miz. And who the fuck is The Miz these days? The Miz can't beat anybody. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to be believing that, he has a chance to beat, CM Punk or anybody else in the WWE, when on Monday, R-Truth won his first match, and God knows however, by beating Ryback, just because Ryback slipped and he rolled him up for the pin. I mean, Ryback's a guy that I think that they turned heel because they thought that, he's a big dude and he would scare a lot of people and he'd be a good role for it. Truth is, people like to cheer this guy. As over as he was, it was stupid to turn this guy. I mean, I think that this long-appointed winning streak, or it's not even a winning streak, losing streak, that he went on by losing his first match at Hell in the Cell, followed by losing at Survivor Series, even though he didn't get pinned, and then losing to Mark Henry was the first exclamation point of, they have fucked this guy up. That was stupid. Henry didn't go anywhere out of that match. Ryback losing that match didn't go anywhere. That was just dumb. I mean, if they could go back and change the course of Ryback, that would be it. Ryback probably has one more chance to get over and really matter in the WWE. And they would have to use him as sort of like a sacrificial lamb at this point. But I mean, if they do Ryback versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and make the whole storyline about, that Ryback was a Paul Heyman guy and he couldn't get a win, and now, Ryback feels humiliated because Paul Heyman keeps on, talking trash to the guy, and, that he wants to kill Paul Heyman now as well, and the people get behind him the same way they got behind CM Punk, and Heyman has to go get the big gun to back him up at WrestleMania. I mean, like I said, they only have one chance to get this guy back over. If not, he's just going to be a guy that, got real hot at one point, and then they just had nothing else to do with him. I don't know. I just, honestly, I can't say it, because I know how stupid it is and how stupid it sounds. But if they do it, this has to be the one chance to get this guy over. Ryback has to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's the only way that you could ever get this guy back over to start up some sort of a winning streak on this guy. If you go from beating Lesnar, there's no other place than putting him right into the title picture. There's no way you can go from, wrestling Brock Lesnar on one pay-per-view and then being like, oh, well, he still wants to get his hands on Paul Heyman, so let's put him up against Curtis Axel at Extreme Rules. No, that's stupid. If you want to put the jumper cables on this guy and really get this guy going again, that is the easiest, one way, only way that you can do it, is Ryback beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's the way you have to get it done. I don't want to see it, but at the same point, I don't want to see Ryback jobbing matches on Monday Night Raw anymore. If you look back at this guy, you think of how hot this guy was and what he could have been when everybody thought he was, the ripoff of Rob Van Dam, like he beat up Rob Van Dam and stole his singlet while he was coming out and acting like Goldberg. The only way they can do it. It sounds stupid. It is stupid, but he has to beat Brock Lesnar.